So yeah, let's get distracted for a bit. For those of you who want only the gameplay, I'm gonna get distracted from gameplay, and what we're gonna do is go through items which could be seen. Let's do that. And I talked about it a little bit before as well, that I want to make like some sort of prediction what these items do. What are the ramifications of that statement? That is exactly what the ramifications of statement about 2 hours is that I wanted to like talk about, predict what are the items for the early access and what they do. At least most of them. I rewatched this video a lot of times, and as you can see it's at 0.25 because I was rewatching it. Let me actually turn off music, so I'll show it to everyone. I have a picture with all of them in a screen, like some person in Discord, unfortunately I don't remember who was it, made a collage with them. So I'll be using it as a reference, but I'll just gonna do a bunch of predictions of what items do, and I thought it'll be funny to do on a stream, or at least not funny, interesting. And then when the game comes out, we're gonna compare my predictions to what actually happened to items, like what are they, and see how much will I get right or wrong. Is there sound? Here. This is the video. It's only 30 seconds, so we'll just watch it. For those of you who haven't seen it, there are some puppies and some fire. Some of them which can be seen used are pretty easy to figure out what they do. But there's some items which you can see only like by flying around, and like the ones which you can see only flying around and the class items are the hardest ones to predict, because like these items can do whatever. So I'll do some like very light predictions around them, but I just want to talk like for all the items, because I think there's like quite a bit can be figured out with quite high level of certainty. Let me see, we're gonna do it with a table. I haven't like thought throughout how we're gonna do it. I do have this screenshot. If you're the owner or author of this screenshot, or not screenshot, the picture of this one, please tell me, because I don't remember who was it. I didn't memorize and I cannot find it because it was like thousands of messages ago in general. I think I have seen what Phoenix does. I don't know from where. Phoenix is pretty easy, right? Like, I mean, we just saw it. So I hope it can be seen as pretty well as well. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll need to up the font or something. So tell me if it's like too small. I'll increase the font so you can see. I thought maybe I'll open a Word document instead of table. I'm not sure what's better, so it might be scuffed. I'm sorry for that. If you just want to see gameplay, like, feel free to see, like, to go to somebody else's stream. I'm fine with that. Like, I just want to do it. I might create a YouTube video out of it, so we'll see if I'll have the mental energy to cut it out of the stream. So some of these items I have no idea what they do, and I can just write some like very slight predictions of what they are gonna do as a group. Because for example, all these wolves or dogs. By the way, actually, I want to say, like, I'm actually, like, just as a general thing, kind of prediction, kind of just a general thing which I think will happen, that we're gonna get a lot more gated items. Because from what I can tell, a lot of groups of items will be gated behind subclass, I think. So we can actually start from those, because those are kind of like in groups. So, because I think all of these, Beastmaster for Ranger, Scale Warden for for Pyromancer and Pact Leader for, is it Berserker, the new class, are all, they all have items which add something, like which have gated items behind it. So I think Beastmaster, and I might be wrong, so don't take my word for it. This is all predictions. So as a Fury, you probably like the Beastmaster class. You call me a furry just because I wear ears? Sure, I'll take it. But I don't know if I consider myself a furry, to be honest. But it's kind of funny that I think you're like, you and Quardek on Tuesday called me a furry. I'm like, what the heck? But sure. So I think Beastmaster will have all of these free as a gated items. Like, so there will be Squirrel, Rat, or Mouse. Is it Mouse? I think it's Mouse. And Hedgehog. So I honestly, like, those are the hardest ones to predict, because I think those are all pets. So let's just type pet. So the thing about pet is I think they're gonna be behaving in a similar fashion to Wallpaintinger, which you have already. So it'll be speeding up by pet, similar to food as well. So we'll have more stuff which can trigger itself to be faster. And just as a to have some sort of prediction, I think this will be a spike generator, Hedgehog one. What can be Squirrel and Mouse? Let's say Squirrel will be luck. If you have any suggestions, you're totally welcome to write it as well. Let's leave Mouse for now. Let me think. What are the buffs in the game? I think I'm actually gonna open this one. Regeneration. Vamp. Maybe Vamp, like a bat. Or Poison. Let's do Poison. Rats are disease spreading animals, right? Hedgehog making spikes has to be right. Yeah, this is the one which I kind of like. I thought about like maybe doing something like, you know, putting some percentages up, like, you know, 100%, like 50%, and like, I don't know. Like, I thought about different models, and like we can think about different ways to doing it. So this is, and like this is also a prediction, one of the prediction, right? So this Beastmaster is gated. So these three items are gated behind Beastmaster. This is also part of a prediction. What Beastmaster exactly does, I'm not sure. Maybe it actually like only adds these items. But I think that it will be like making them stronger, right? They'll somehow interact with them. So if you have an animal, it will probably have a bunch of stars around it. So if there's an animal or around it, it'll be probably giving some boost. So some boost to pets. It's kind of hard to see what exactly is it. Probably just speed boost, but like it's hard to predict because some subclass items are huge and like very unique in how they work, so it's not easy to predict them. Like these are the hardest ones. Maybe certain foods will attract certain pets. I don't think that'll be the case, but maybe. Like Hedgehog being attracted to pineapple, that's actually an interesting idea. Honestly, I think they'll be producing that stuff, but you know, they might. It might be the case that they'll actually eat those stats. Like, you know, imagine Hedgehog eating spikes and producing, like, I don't know, healing you or producing something else. Like, maybe they'll be actually in opposites, they'll be using your stats. Assuming Beastmaster would make them activate faster or enhance their effect sometimes. Yeah, that's why I'm kind of like, also. Let's actually try to do it like 100%. So, 100%, like 100% is not 100%, but basically what I think is like sounds plausible enough, let's say. 50 is kind of like here and there, and I don't know, like some items I have no idea what they do. Or pets just show up the shop if you have it. Yeah, that's what I mean by gated items. Sorry if I didn't make it clear. I'm calling gated items from how they are called in the game, right? Gated items in the game right now are gemstones, because they're gated behind having box of riches, and cards, which are hidden behind having deck of cards. I don't know why Ruby Whelp is gated. I guess because you can only buy egg, right? And after that you get Ruby Whelp. But gated items is that if you have it in your backpack, then you can see them in a shop. So that's what I mean. So you can see them only if you have this item. That's exactly what I meant. So next one, let's go pack leader. So we're staying on cute guys. So I think pack leader is doing the same. It has these doggies gated behind them. They're like white doggo. By the way, do you see text? Or is it not really visible? I can try to make it bigger. I know, I'm also talking through that and I'm just typing in, so it's not like, you know, it's not too important that you see what is written, because I'm talking through that anyway. But I'm just making sure. Does Reaper not have a pet subclass? Reaper does not have two Reaper, new Reaper subclass, Alchemist and Venomancer. I mean current ones, which are current ones, goddammit. And current ones are Curse Dagger, Mr. Struggles, and Nocturnal Uplifter. So no real pet synergy, I would say. Yeah, so all of these will be pets. I think they are gonna have the same speed up. I guess I can add also somewhere pet speed up. So like this one you can even see in the trailer that they somehow enhance each other, like you can see stars. And I think I'm also a Hawaiian based thing that this is the behind this thingy. What was it called? The pack leader, is because you can see it only. Let's go slow, so I'll be showing some clips as well. I guess a snake is a pet? Maybe a snake is a pet. I'm sorry for the sound. Let's make it quieter. It's so like, so you can see it only happen, like you can see pets only together with this thing. That's why I think these are gated. And you can see that those like have stars, and when he puts it down, this will jump as well. But how I think how it works actually is that it only takes the amount of different pets you have, because over here you can like pretty interestingly, let me turn off sound. It's so you see him reacting even when this one got improved. That's why I'm thinking that actually this one actually maybe I just noticed. So I'm not sure how it works, but I think it works on the amount of different tools you have, not exactly around this item, because it doesn't feel like, I assume those boards are kind of being optimized, and like you can clearly optimize it better. And that's why I think that it doesn't have to be connected to it. So, but I'm not sure. So I think it's on the amount of different ones. Like its effects is some boost on the amount of different pets. And I would assume that those pets are attack. I think those are pet weapons. They all, like, I don't know, they might have some different effects to them. But from one thing that the whetstone is pointed at it, it's not a huge, like, maybe he just doesn't use whetstone properly, but I think they kind of look like attacking pets as well. And the armor on them kind of also suggests that they're the fighting ones. So I think all of them are weapons. And I think they have a little bit of differences between them, but like that's a little bit hard to guess. The black doggo is certainly easy. Yeah, the black doggo is, I mean, this one as well, like, you know, more like silly attacking one. Or you mean like only the black one is attacking? You know what? You might be correct. Maybe they're not all attacking. You know what? Let's actually change. I have a good point. Maybe only black one is attacking. Brown one might be a cooking one, especially with a pan on the head. Maybe they're enhancing something else. You know what? Let's predict something enhances food. And white one, let's just make something different. Although it's kind of like in, I don't know, area. Let's do protects. Either gaining block or removing damage like a shield. Let's say that's a protect. He protect, he attack. He protect, he attack this, and this guy cooks. And another one, gated item, I think, or a gate subclass which will add some gated items are Scale Warden. Scale Warden. Because you can see dragons only in this shot right there. And what I think it does is, first of all, I think it ungates those dragons, those 3 dragons. So green one, purple one, and blue one. You can also see a black one over here. But I feel for some reason, because black one looks more like a ruby chunk, and he is like 2x3, I think black one is not part of this group. Those look very different from this guy. So I think those 3 are all together with Scale Warden, and this one is separate. So gated. And also I think what Scale Warden does is that it lets eggs to hatch in 1 turn. That's what I think it does. I think that's like a good subclass item. It lets dragons to be hatched earlier than the other ones. Makes sense, yes. So there's blue dragon and egg as well. Purple dragon and green dragon. I think we discussed it before. I think they're all pets again. I think they're all weapons. Range one, so they're basically like Ruby Whelp, I think. Let's actually remove S, kinda. And also, I think those are, every one of them is around some sort of element. So I think as Ruby Whelp adds fire, I think purple one looks the most spiky one. So I think purple one is gives you some spikes. Blue one does very like similar to mana, so I think he gives you mana. And green one is kind of like, he kind of looks like poison, but maybe luck. But I would put here that he's probably is around poison. But this one is kind of like less sure, so I'll put it a little bit to the right. So these ones, I think they'll be like gated items. Like from looking at the trailer, it seems like there's definitely, like, you don't see Beastmaster and you don't see those guys at all. You only see them at the end of the video. When like items fly down, you can see those critters here. And because they showed on the new classes, I think that's the reason why they didn't show them. Oh, one thing as well. I think there's 3 badges. Elephant, eagle, and badger. I think those might be gated as well. And I think those might be gated either behind Chieftain or Shaman. Those 3. I think, like, I would assume they're gated, but this is kind of like a little bit a far stretch. I'm less sure about that, but let's add it. Let's... And I'm not sure. Let's put it under Chieftain. Or maybe, does somebody know about anything about those cultures? Is it a shamanic thing to have something like that, or is it more like a chieftain thing? I think it's more of a shamanic thing, right? So let's put shaman actually. I'll have some very like light prediction around some of these subclasses, because some of them, like, you cannot really say, like blacksmith. What the heck is blacksmith? I have no idea. maybe Woolen has something about hammer, but not sure as well. So let's say gated, so elephant rune, eagle rune, and badger rune. The blue one can generate frost and the violet can inflict fatigue. You think they'll be all negative ones? You're talking about the dragons, right? I honestly... The violet seems so spiky, but he also kind of seems dark. And dark is associated with fatigue for sure. So you might be correct. The green one highly likely will generate poison. You know what? And purple one might even be blind, to be honest, as well. And then it would make sense. They'll all be negative effects. You know what? Let's put it in 50%. I think spikes, like, at the same time, this is also very spiky, right? And it's, you know what? Sure. I'll... It makes sense. Let's change prediction. So let's put fatigue. Let's put blind. I'll put blind. Then it makes sense. Mana, frost, blind, poison. I feel like it doesn't make sense. We want poison, frost, and then fatigue. If you go by gems, purple one would remove buffs. If you go by gems, yeah. They actually do look like gem dragons, right? Which is an actual thing in like D&D and stuff. God damn. Now you're making me second guess everything, and now I'm thinking maybe black one is blind and purple one is fatigue. Maybe they are connected. God damn. But this guy looks absolutely different from other ones. Like, those guys look different from this one. So I think this one is... Well, let's not connect this one. I think those three are disconnected from the black one. So I'm gonna keep along with that. And honestly, I'll like, it's a good point, but I'll put them like, let's put them a little bit less, because weapon it's almost 100%, but frostblind poison we're not so sure. Let's blind, you know what, let's put slash fatigue. Let's put both here, who cares. So we have 3 runes. I think first of all they might be gemstones. I think you can add them to your weapons or anything. So they basically behave like gemstones, and I think each of them will be like around some rule. So I think elephant will be around survival, eagle will be around like just general like accuracy and crit. And badger will be around the damage up. I think, like, I don't know how they're gonna exactly behave if you put them in armor and stuff. I'm gonna do like such a high prediction. I'm gonna like more like generally what are they doing, especially since we don't see them behave at all. Because some of the things I can quite certainly predict. Like Phoenix is pretty easy to predict, and other items are kind of hard. So let's actually go with items which can be seen in the trailer. So let's actually start with Pyromancer, because some of his items are very obvious to see how they work. First of all, so let's go Pyromancer. So first of all, his bag. You can see his bag is a, by the way, first 3x3 bag, POG. And I think what it's gonna do is produce 1 fire. I'm pretty sure of it. Like, you can see that Pyromancer has a lot of fire around in fights. Where is it? Like over here. So I think his bag just produces fire every time. So 90% produces 1 fire. And I think, let's type in fire straight away. I think it's an item which acts like a clover, just gives you, like, clover gives 1 luck, this one gives you 1 heat at the start of the battle. So Because also this screenshot is very good for that reason, because you can see this fight probably goes around for like 6 seconds or something like that. This guy has 15 heat, 15 this fires, and he has 16 heat. And even at the start you can see him having exactly 15. He gets 16 once he hits with a weapon. You see here 15, and then he hits with this weapon with a coal inside and probably triggers heat, the gain of heat. So, and you can also, and plus you can combine weapon with 2 fires to make a heated weapon. With 2, we can see it as well. I see messages, give me a second. To make heated weapon. We can get more unknown buffs and debuffs, so many of these items will inflict these things. I actually don't think so. Because you cannot, like, you can clearly see some test fights with us, and there is not a single new debuff or buff. It's all the same. So here's cold, all the same ones. So at least from what information we can glean out of those, there's no new debuffs or buffs here as well. I can't wait for Fire Spear. And you know, let's talk about fire weapon. So fire weapon, and I'm pretty sure what it does. I think so as well. I have 2 options and I'm leaning towards it's being fire weapon. So here you can see this guy hits ranger with crits consistently, and there is no crit inducing items which you know about. So I think what making weapons firing does is it adds them 5% crit for each hit you have. That's my prediction. Another thought I had is maybe this bag gives this effect, which might be the case as well. But I'm leaning more towards weapons having those effects, because you don't see them producing heat like in this little piece of battle. Like, gave me so much info. I looked over it like 10 times to see like all the info, like what are all the hits and stuff. So you clearly see that he has a huge crit chance because he crits every time. One not crit is crit resisted by a type of resilience. Randomly takes away backspace. Wait, what? Randomly takes away backspace? You mean like it doesn't make sense that back doesn't do anything? That's what you mean? You know what? It might be even both. It might be that fire weapon inside of the fire, like starting back, needs like get this effect. So, but it either back or the weapon itself. One of them for sure gives a crit chance based on heat. Like, I'm almost certain to, because it works very similar to Ranger. They do have weapons in the free in both builds. Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of hard to tell exactly, but I think it's weapons, but it might be bag or might be both. I don't see the fire giving buffs or anything else. It literally looks like a curse. What do you mean by that? Fire giving buffs. Oh, those, because I think those are starting items. At this gives you 1 hit at the start of battle. So no, I don't think it's just backspace. I think it's just you get 1 each time. And because you can see some very early boards, like right here, having some of those fires. Oopsie. So I think you get like production of them straight off this back, and it kind of looks like, you know, it can produce some. But it's kind of interesting idea that you cannot remove them. But I don't think they're going for it, but it's not a bad idea. So I think fire weapon gives 5% crit for each hit. It's going for some like big brain ideas. I like it. But the reason why I think they do gives heat is because in this battle, yeah, as I said, this guy has 16 heat and he has 15 fires. So it's kind of like, you know, 1 + 1 = 2. feels like they're connected directly. But its Godi might be correct as well. You know, those might be fires which you need to get rid of. But the reason though why I think they're good, because I feel like there's a lot of fires as well, right? It's one of the kind of like close to last rounds, like 260 on this side. This is also a good point. There's some extra HP going on, by the way. Like apart from those 40, which will bring him to 300 because this one doesn't have any max HP things, there's some extra max HP going on, which I'm not 100% sure where it comes from. But let's talk about those guys. Let's call them Dragon Color, because they seem like a acorn color, and you even can see that there's a magic stuff like thing, or more like acorn color, Gritwood stuff like thing going on here. If dragon amulets are made from blood amulets, they might give max HP. Interesting idea, but honestly I think they're separate. There seems like I think they're a separate thing which behaves similar to acorn color, and like in terms of that you can make a special stuff for it. Color will stay a ranger item, I think. Yeah. Acorn color is like I don't think I think it's similar to acorn color, that it's a class item which costs around 6. It's around epic rarity, and it makes a combination with magic stuff to make a unique magic stuff for this class. And I think there might be the same thing for Berserker with this color. I think there might be like 4 stuffs, which kind of makes sense if they want to have the balance of items being kind of like spread out between classes. So I think this dragon color actually produces 1 fire for you as well after battle. So as an item. I think this board has so much fire because he has 3 of those amulets, and I think they produce fire. Like fire, I mean not heat, but I think those as an item, I'm calling them just fire. Maybe like they're called spark or there. I'm not making prediction on any of the namings. Looks like a snake on this stuff. Yeah, exactly. And here it also looks like a snake. Like they look really similar. And no, it's a dragon. You see, here you can see a little bit of wings, and they're really similar to that one. So I think dragon color is, I think it just produces 1 fire after battle, because this board specifically kind of suggests that that's the case. And I think there's 2 combines with it. One is like, let's say, dragon stuff, this one, and I think that's actually how you get this guy, because those dragons actually look similar. So I think, so let's say plus magic stuff. Oops. How do I make, okay, found it. So it's a combination with magic stuff and combination with ruby. I think it's actually ruby whelp, it's not ruby chonk, because it's pyromancer, right? We don't have cards. So you get the black dragon. How would they synergize with dragons though? How would they? Who are you naming they right now? Or is it just to make black dragon? You mean the stuff? Or the fire? I don't know what's like, synergy is kind of harder, right? And the dragon color is accessory. And let's add also fire weapon, 5% crit chance for each hit. Maybe along with the bag. Let me write that down as well. The stuff and the color. No, I think what I mean is dragon color with magic stuff makes this dragon stuff. Like this one plus magic stuff will give you that. And ruby whelp with that thing give you this black dragon. That's what I mean. And I think stuff will probably, like stuff is the hardest one like to predict. You don't see it in trailer, it's kind of hard to say, but I think it'll be something around hit, like maybe damaging for each hit, heat as like as a buff. damaging for each hit, or in some way interacting with it. Like it feels like it will be like directly connected with the hit. And I think the Black Dragon will, like, this is also kind of hard, but I don't want it to be too close to Ruby Chong, but I think he will be kind of close to Ruby Chong. I think he might be even also producing heat himself, similar to Ruby Chong on each hit. And it's a weapon, it's a pet, as all the other ones. Surely this stuff makes dragons stronger somehow. Do you think so? I don't think so, because those dragons, as I said, I think those are like strictly subclass. I think this will just interact with heat and not directly with dragons. I don't think so. Like, I don't think it'll be like some specific way to improve dragons apart from just being in synergy with them. Or benefit from having dragons. I feel like it might be. It's actually an interesting idea. Let me write it down. I'll write it down in I don't know, because I feel like it's a lower chance, but I'll write it down. It's an interesting prediction. In some way interacting with dragons, which kind of assumes that dragon will be a separate tag as well. I'll write it down. I personally feel like it's a low chance, but it'll be here. Especially because the Black Dragon is separate from the other three. I think Black Dragon is basically a Ruby chunk of Pyromancer, that's what I think. And those three are like subclass dragons. So I don't think they'll be like necessarily connected. But it's an interesting idea, but I don't think so. And Dragon Staff is a weapon as well. I think it'll be hitting, not just like doing some effects like Staff 1 healing. What else do we have? So all of those fire weapons as well. Oh, also this guy, Chili Pepper. I think Chili Pepper, everybody understands this class specific food. You can also see a chili Goobert, which is probably let's move this. Which is probably plus Goobert plus 2 chili peppers. And I think they'll be producing heat. It's kind of like this one though, like right here. It's kind of sketchy because this guy has 15 hit at the moment of like where the part of this comes in, but the battle was certainly going on for some time. And it feels weird. It feels like Chili Pepper should have triggered at least once. And if my prediction with fires is correct that they give heat, then this guy should have 16 heat at the moment of like this moment, because 15 fires plus 1 chili triggers feels like should be 16 already. So there's some like thoughts I have that it might not be heat, it might be something else. Also, the 2 Vamp Amulets are weird. They are weird, I agree. I feel like they combine into something. Do you think so? Like, he doesn't have any combines like visible, but it's an interesting option. And I mean, amulets are heavily combinable currently. They're similar to corrupted crystals, right? They can make combinations. And you know what? That was a good point. I think that those colors, let's add, I think they'll be giving 10 max HP as well. That was a good notice because there's like 260, these give 40 and this gives 30. So it kind of makes sense. The Black Dragon will be the next stage of some whelp. Probably it will grow from the violet one. No, I don't think so. I see where you're coming from, but I think because this guy is so similar to this guy, you can see his belly being yellow and his wings on the inside being yellow. I think this is our whelp developed into this one. Well, also the reason behind it, these guys seem to have a lot a stronger presence of scales on them. Like, and I think it kind of tells that these guys are a little bit different. So kind of like gemstones dragons, like, you know, different kind of dragons. And you can see on all of them kind of like similar stuff. And this guy is smooth. Similar to Ruby Whelp. Where is it? Yeah, he's very similar to Ruby Whelp in his appearance. So I think... What about yellow horns? I think there are horns. Yeah, you can see horns here as well. I don't know if you can see them on stream. You can type in, like... I think I have... Did I set it up correctly? Yeah, you can see this sheet as well. So I think you can see some yellow horns here. So I do think that this guy is separate from those guys. I did have the same feeling that this guy is also like similar to those and just a new dragon type. But after looking into this one, I feel like this is a separate guy and a development of Whelp. And these are like a separate subclass gated item. So I think, like, although there's some signs that Chili Pepper doesn't give heat, I think I'm still gonna predict that it's gonna be a heat giving item. A heat like every 4 or 5 seconds. Then it's a food. But there's some like questions about that. And the same with Chili Goobert, giving heat for like every blah 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 activations. So that's my predictions for Goobert guy. So this Phoenix, let's talk about Phoenix. This is pretty like relatively easy. You can see him actually hitting. So first of all, it's a weapon. Probably a ranged weapon. Maybe he's a development from Ruby Whelp. It might be the case, but it might be a separate thing as well. Because over here, you can see when it starts, he charges here and he hits for 19. So it's definitely a weapon. That's one of the things he is. And you can see clearly that like all the ad is about it's resurrect. So whenever you hit 0 HP, you consume all your heat and you heal for 10 for each of your heat consumed. So this guy had 16, healed for 160. It's pretty easy to see, and I think it's like quite 100%. Weapon, probably ranged one, maybe pet as well. I'll actually type in that it's probably a pet. And resurrects once, healing 10 per hit. Or I guess not resurrects, heals. Heals instead of dying. That's the Phoenix. And I'll put into like 50%. Maybe the develops from Ruby Whelp. Because he's attacking, because he's most probably ranged attacking, I assume that he somehow gets from Ruby Whelp. What else? I hope people are not fully asleep yet. I think those are all the Pyromancer apart from subclasses. Subclasses are very hard. Like, I do not have a lot of ideas what subclasses. There's Ashbringer, you can even see him in battle with Ashbringer, but I have no idea what it does. Like, there's no clear visual what it does. I don't think it recharges, so you don't see it like filling up, so it doesn't have effects on its own. And you don't see any buffs, like specific big amount of buffs or debuffs. I think it's just a shop item. Which exactly? Phoenix? Maybe. Like, let's actually put it, you know what? Let's put it in, I don't know. I have like a small hunch that it might be related by Ruby Whelp. But yeah, I am kind of like, it's just a small idea I have, but you're probably correct. So I'm putting it in, I don't know. This text is very hard to read, but this is just for like whenever Basically, the idea, I want to go through it, and after the release, we'll go over it again at some point and see where the predictions landed or not. But yes, like there's a very high chance that this is just a godly item. It's so big, by the way. Like, this is a shape we have never seen before. This guy is like a freaking trident right there. It's kind of cool. It'll be a little bit hard to play around with him, but very cool. So what else? So there's 4 more subclasses. Let's just Firebender, which is from this like a moving castle guy. Who else there? There's Crusader, there's Ashbringer, and there is Cryomancer. The only thing I have some prediction is Cryomancer. I think Cryomancer will produce, like, it might be something like different, but I think it'll produce cold for each heat. So kind of like cold fire, right? All this idea of like frozen fire and stuff like that. That's kind of the only one which I have like a sort of high prediction, like what it will be. I think maybe Firebender, like it's already like 50%, will increase heat production around itself. So sort of like scythes, like basically double the production of heat for each, like all the items around it will be double heat production. Maybe something absolutely different, but that's kind of like the only thing I have for him. Ashbringer is very weird, and like I have no idea what it can do. It kind of looks sort of like dark and corrupted crystallisk, so I'm gonna say that it'll probably give, I'm putting it in, I don't know, like, because these are like very slight predictions from you, what you can see. I think it'll give fatigue based on heat, something around that, because it kind of seems like it's going into long fights. And Crusader, goddamn, Crusader is hard. Crusader with a heart burning on itself, like with a picture of heart with a fire. Maybe it will start giving out HP. Can this be the case? No, what? I don't want to sit around for them for a while because it's really hard to predict around them. They're like, again, subclass items are big and strong and can be very varied. Like from what we already have, as almost each subclass item has some unique effect which you cannot get anywhere else. So let's say it's gonna be playing around. Maybe it turns heat into regen. Maybe. Or like some sort, I think it's somehow ties HP with heat. Either it'll give you max HP for each heat, either it will actually steal your HP for each heat, or you'll get faster for each HP missing. Something around getting faster or getting more heat tied to HP in some sort of way. And it can be both like positive, like giving you something, or actually taking HP out and giving you some boost for that. But I think it'll be somehow related just from the picture of heart, but it's very hard to predict. So I think that's it, right? There's some of those items around, but I don't think they'll actually be class gated. Like they'll not be class specific. So let's go through. Is he called Berserker or like is it Barbarian? Yeah, Berserker. So next one, let's actually have some separation. Berserker. So first of all, easy one. Berserker gets a hammer. Here it is. You can also see that it's a weapon. And I think it hits pretty weakly, but still you can see that it hits over here for free. I can imagine they would give the new classes some source of regen besides herbs. Maybe. Yeah, maybe you're correct. I'm not disregarding that. It might be the case. I'm just like, I put that it's somehow related. That's kind of like, I don't want to write all the predictions. Like it can go into region, it can go into other cases. Although if you think about it, Reaper doesn't have any regeneration. It's kind of like only Ranger can get some more regeneration through his subclass item. So it's kind of very specific. So I actually don't know. It might be the case, it might not. So it gets a hammer, which is first of all, it's a weapon. Let's actually have it here. Weapon plus it forges items. Probably like we can see quite a bit of items being forged. You can see ELG getting forged. You can see shoes being forged. You can see gloves being forged right there. Reaper does have the lowers. Oh yeah, good point. I never thought about lowers as a yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe there will be like one region source for each class. That's an interesting point. And this bag, his bag, I think somehow ties into his battle rage. So we can see also that battle rage happens like he has 55 max. Once he drops down to less than 27, he has a battle rage hitting. And I think it'll be Berserker bag will be giving actual like damage boost on battle rage. Since we haven't seen a single boost being tied to a class and not to an item of a class, I think battle rage is not tied to a class itself, it's tied to a bag. So whenever you hit battle rage, so you're hitting below 50% HP, you cannot see it in the video anywhere, but I think that's where the bag hits. I think you'll get some damage boost, maybe speed boost and stuff. Damage and speed boost on battle rage. And I think I'm not sure about hammer actually. Like the forged items is a mystery to me so far. Like you can see like those guys getting some protection, so maybe they get more block. Maybe they're just like looking stronger like that. You can see everything looks a little bit more like protected and stuff. So it kind of one assumption is that it gives block, but weapons get bigger, maybe they get slower and hit harder. So it's a little bit like I don't have a single prediction what forged weapons do exactly. But one thing which you can like see interestingly over here is that it seems like forged gloves actually do not speed up weapons. And why do I think so is that whenever they are forged, you see usually things which have stars attached to them light up when they like kind of transform. You can see it over here, right? He puts it down and those light up. When he improves them later, they light up as well over here. Oh my god, this. So you see this one and those kind of like boom, and those bump like stuff around it. So I think those gloves start doing something absolutely different. I don't think they work in both sides to give speed boost. But also in a fight you don't see them being as a weapon, so they're not close of attack as well. So something about those gloves, I don't know what about them, but they do something completely different. Maybe they're boosting banana, maybe they're boosting down, I don't know. But those gloves, forged gloves, the only prediction I have is that they're not speeding up anymore. They do not speed up. But I have honestly no idea. The first announcement says some things about Battle Rage. Yeah, exactly. So Battle Rage over here. Battle Rage is a mechanic which will work with Berserker bag and add the damage and speed boost whenever you hit 50% HP. I am like quite certain of that. That's what you can see when he hits 50% HP. He's like enraged and stuff, and he starts hitting harder. I don't think it's invulnerability. He still loses HP. I think it just like starts hitting faster. I mean on Steam. Oh, I see. Yeah, I think there are some announcements. I actually didn't read them over again, but I'm going only from the video basically. But yeah, you're right, there was something about it. The Berserker is rough, tough, and angry. Her core mechanic is Battle Rage, which gives her increased attack speed and damage resistant. Oh, damage resistant, interesting. So let's actually change that since let's cheat a little bit. When in danger, many Berserker specific items interact with Battle Rage and do something special when it activates. Oh, probably gloves add attack. Okay, good point. So they do not speed up. But the thing is, like, you see here, they still, like, they don't interact with anything when they get made. So they do not do anything around it. Maybe they just give them power. Are there any offensive items that damage stamina yet? Like the shields on defense? There used to be Funfair. Or no, it's still here. It still removes stamina. Yeah, that's the only offensive stamina removal. I don't know, like gloves. I think, you know what? I'll put that they add empower. Empower when Battle Rage. And then thank you very much for Lodan for this message. So it means like probably those all items starts to interact with Battle Rage. So whenever you hit 50%, they activate. Oh, then actually, you know what? Forged shoes. It's the same thing but stronger. Stronger effect, but only once you Battle Rage. So it's like a trade-off, right? Because regular shoes trigger at 70% HP and give you luck and empower. I think they'll give something similar, maybe like 2 luck to empower or 1 luck to empower, but only at Battle Rage, which is 50%, which is more risky. And I think Battle Rage, by the way, I'll put it somewhere. Battle Rage is at 50%. I think so. What else? What else do we have? Let's go through all the... You know what? That's a very good point though. Maybe bag is not associated with that. Hey Vadim, just coming. What you up to? We're discussing... I'm making predictions for all the items which you can see in trailer. So we're going over each and every item and I'm like making somewhere very specific predictions, somewhere very loose predictions of what they'll do when the game come out. And then we'll do another video or another stream after the game comes out and we'll see how much did I get right. You know what? I might be wrong about the bag though. I think it makes more sense for forged items only to be related, or both. You know what? I'll say both. I think Berserker bag gives something as well. So forged shield G. We can also see axe and forged axe. So this one, I assume that this is axe and this is the same like hammered axe or forged axe. It becomes double. Is it double axe? Whatever it's called. Extra impractical large sword cooldown 8 seconds, damage 100. That's actually not too unbalanced. Probably actually not a bad prediction, honestly. Very risky, but also very powerful, and too unbalanced. I mean, it's strong, but at the same time, you need to hit 50% HP, and only then you can get something like that. I'm kind of down for that. You know what? I'm gonna put that in. I'm not specifically, but it's an interestingly even longer cooldown. Oh, maybe. You know what? It doesn't make sense to have a longer cooldown though. You know what? Just for fun, let's actually put exactly that. 8 seconds cooldown. Damage 100. Let's go with that specific. after Battle Rage. And let's put it in 50%. I'm not 100% sure. I think the general idea more powerful after Battle Rage. That I'm 100% sure, or like 90% sure. But let's have this like very specific 8 seconds, 100 damage. It would be actually interesting. I like where you're going, Soskiosk. So Axe, also Axe, I thought about Axe in general, and I have no idea what would be the special effect of Axe itself, like what would be its gimmick. Like, clearly Battle Axe will be somehow, like, getting stronger for during and ranged, but regular Axe, I don't have a lot of ideas how it's gonna behave. So, it's clearly a weapon, right? And Forged weapon boosts with Battle Rage. But again, I don't have a lot of ideas. Maybe somebody in chat like has any idea how the axe can be, like how it can behave, what it can be like, because ELG, right, like it hits once, it hits strong, but it also improves Empower. There's like some mechanic related to Empower. I think axe, you know what, I'll put that it's somehow related to Empower. I would think so, because it's also very big. Sounds really cool. Can't wait to see how wrong you are about this. God damn. Don't you want to see how right I am? But I'll probably be wrong on very many things. But I think I'm quite certain about some things, like especially things you can see happening in battle. I'm like quite certain. For example, Phoenix, I'm quite certain about the effects I listed, like the resurrection, because you can see it very specifically happening during the battle, so I'm quite certain about them. But and I'm like relatively certain about dragons being gated, but what exactly effects are, I'm kind of like here and there. But thank you for a nice word. Cheese is the biggest mystery. Yeah, actually, I was like thinking. You know what, I googled what are the cheese benefits for human body. I actually googled it before the stream to kind of think, what should, like, you know, because carrots make sense, right? Carrots give accuracy, so wait, carrots, actually I'm breaking down on my own logic. Mushrooms like poisonous, so they add poison. Chili pepper is hot, so they give heat. Carrots cleanse. Yeah, carrots cleanse. For some reason I mixed up with blue. Yeah, blueberries give luck because they enhance your vision, right? So you have higher accuracy. So some of this makes sense. Max HP maybe max HP. I thought between max HP or Empower, and max HP feels more down to the thing which Berserker will do. Any ideas about these white bottles? I'll get to them. I honestly think, yeah, actually, let's talk about them since you brought them. I'll write them down later, so I have classes. But I have a pretty strong prediction that this will be just cleansing debuffs. I think this is just a direct cleanse debuff, and I think it'll be a holy potion, and a strong holy potion. I don't know what it'll be combining with. Like, I don't see like a very obvious thing to be combined with. But I think this is holy potion, this is strong holy potion, and I think they'll be removing debuffs. I'm like relatively certain that will be the case. So where are we? Forge, where? Oh, let's yeah, cheese and plus Goobert plus 2 cheese. Actually, now when I'm looking, this Goobert seems to have only 1 cheese. This Goobert has 2, and all of the Gooberts do have 2 inside of them. 2 Gooberts here, like 2 mushrooms inside of this one, and carrot one as well has 2 carrots sticking out. But this one does seem to have only 1 cheese. Maybe the holes inside of it? Cheesebird? Maybe the holes inside of it kinda represent the other cheese. Can this be the case? I actually never thought would that be 2 cheeses or 1 cheeses? Because there's like carrots, you can still see buff. I guess it'll depend on the price of the cheese, like Vamp and Light Goop. Yeah. And Steel Goop as well, right? I'll go with 2 cheese, because all of the food items are kind of like in the same price category of free. So I think all of them will be also free, will also be rare, and the Goobers will be also 2 items. So I think the holes in the Goobert represent the second cheese. So I'll put 2 cheese. And let's go with max HP. I think that's a very good option. I think it's a lot more probable than... and like food and per activation, like as they are in all the other ones. I guess it's artisanal cheese. What is artisanal cheese? What does that mean? But steel and Vamp Gooberts contain 1 item. Yeah, that's what I mean. What I mean is that they visually contain 1 item as well. But all, like so far, all the class-specific Gooberts contain 2 items inside of them. So there's Carrot Goobert, Ranger-specific has 2 carrots. Poison Goobert contains 2 mushrooms. And you can see also Pepper one, Chili Pepper one contains 2 right there. So I think this one also will contain 2. And it kind of goes along. And I think cheese will be also a rare item, which will give max HP every time it triggers. It kind of makes sense to go along with the whole get to 50% HP and be a little bit more safe with cheese here. Adjective relating to or characteristic of an artisan. Artisanal skills of a product, especially food or drink, made in a traditional or non-mechanized way. Artisanal cheese. So basically handmade? Is that basically what it means? Like it was made by a professional and not by a industry, basically? Or am I stupid? Because Toby is laughing at me. I'm scared. Oh, I also missed. It might also be a new buff that makes it even more complete. I don't think so. My prediction, there's no new buffs. There's no new buffs, no new debuffs. I don't think they have a new one. You don't see it anywhere. And it's expensive. You dumped it down very nicely. Dumped it down. That's a good phrase. To dump down. Maybe some combo of mouse and cheese? I like, through my predictions, I don't think so, because I think that mouse is a Beastmaster gated item for Ranger. So this subclass. So I don't think so, but it might be the case. It's not a... It's pretty interesting idea. But I have prediction that those 3 will be going together with Beastmaster. I think there will be a new buff at least. It might be the case. It might be that they specifically didn't show cheese, so you don't see this buff. That might be the case. But also, why I think it's a good question. Like, I'm not totally against there be new buff or debuff, but I think over here is a good example. They don't have new space for a buff. That's why I don't think there'll be a new buff. Maybe there'll be a new debuff, because there's definitely space for one more. There's like poison, blind, cold, and there can be one more. So I'm not against the idea that there'll be a new debuff, but I predict that there'll be no new buffs. Because there's just no UI space for it. If you have mouse, an opponent has cheese, he eats it. That's something interesting. Or, you know, mouse eats away max HP of opponent. That'll be pretty cool. Imagine. I see what you mean. Yeah, so just from what we see, I think we can say with a pretty high certainty there'll be no buffs, but there might be another debuff. Because they'll need to change UI for that. And like you cannot see it. It might be that they're playing on some like client which doesn't have it, and maybe they have it like later. But I tend towards no buffs, maybe new debuff. So max HP. Berserk may be a Beastmaster. No, you can see it. Beastmaster is a Ranger. You can see all of them here. So let me put normal speed. Like basically here, you could see Ranger here. So here Ranger, this is Beastmaster and Grovekeeper, 2 new subclasses for Ranger, 2 new for Reaper, Alchemist and Venomancer, and those are 5 for Berserker, and those 5 are Pyromancer. So the Beastmaster for Berserker is pack leader. And like I predicted that those guys are gated behind pack leader. I went over like what they probably do already, so I'm not gonna do it again. I hope I'll make a YouTube video out of it. Slicing up videos burns me out very quickly, so I'm not 100% sure that I'll do it, but still, I'll try. Forged gloves, forged shoes, forged armor as well. Let's put that in. What can you do? So it triggers something after rage hits, right? Like that's for certain. It triggers something during battle rage, right? Because we think that all the forged items interact somehow with battle rage, so it should make something during battle rage. What can it do? Oh, you know what? My prediction would be actually, you know, I think it'll make resistant. Forged gloves probably gives block because in the first Berserker clip they have. Oh, let's see. That's a good point. They have garlic though. Wait, let's slow down. Yeah, so you don't see block over here. I think it's just garlic. I didn't see garlic. Yeah, so there's garlic. But I think actually armor is gonna go give resistance. Because like as it was free, so yeah, okay. I didn't know that it was free. So I think it like because in the description as well it says that it'll give some damage resistance. So I think it's gonna give some sort of damage resistance in battle rage. And I think most of the things I think battle rage will be not all the way till 0 HP. I think it will be like 5 seconds after you hit half HP or 10 seconds. Like I think it will be timed. Just to make it clear, I don't think it will be till the end. I think it will be similar to the doll, the class item of Reaper. What is it? Mr. Struggles. So I think it will be health drops below 50%, something happens. I think it will be similar to Mr. Struggles. So forged armor probably gives resistance. What else is forged? Nothing else is forged, right? So we also have this spiked collar, which is a mystery to me. I have no idea what it does. Like there is no in battle place. Hey, high five. Thank you for the follow. I cannot see it. No one and everyone. I appreciate this the follow. So you can see it in a couple of places. This like spiked collar. I think it's here as well. Wait, not here. I have not a lot of ideas what it does, to be honest. Like I was looking at it, like maybe it gives spikes. Like that's kind of like the obvious thing, right? Oh, you know what can be bag giving? Because I've like realized that forged item will probably be related to battle rage, right? So I think bag will actually interact with the amount of forged item you have. I'll write it down. I'm not sure though. Interacts with the amount of forged items. And maybe I'll write down probably crit. Because every class needs some access to crit, right? And I think that might be the case how it gives a crit. And let's say, I don't know. It feels like it should be related to spikes. It kind of looks like acorn collar as well, in a way, so it maybe like interacts with items around it. But doesn't have to be the case, because I think the dragon, which seems like a Pyromancer acorn collar version, doesn't interact with item because it's like spread around randomly in one of the fights. So let's say it gives, oh my god, I have no idea. So first of all, probably interacts with spikes. because it has spikes on it. And I'll put in, you know what, I'll put in that the spike damage is not capped by the damage you're dealt. Let's say that's like, I'll put it in, I don't know, because it feels very, very, very powerful. Too powerful, unbalancedly powerful. I'll put that in. Spike damage is not capped. Because as you know, when you hit like for 5 damage but the opponent has 10 spikes, you'll still get 5 damage. You cannot get more than you hit damage. The same for Vamp. If you have 10 Vamp but you hit for 7, you heal only 7. Definitely gives spikes, right? Yeah, probably gives spikes as well. Traxxas spikes gives it. At least start of battle. The thing is, start of battle spikes is very weak. So if it gives spikes, it's probably like a decent amount, like 3, 4, 5, something like that. Because we already have Walrus Tusk, right? And it gives spikes, and on itself it's kind of a trash item, so... But it might be something. It also might be that it gives some boost to a weapon from each spike. That might be the case as well. What else? What else do we have? I think nothing which is clearly attached to the Berserker. Now we have items. Oh wait, we have subclasses. Let's write down all the subclasses. So we have Blacksmith. We have Chieftain. I already wrote down Shaman because I think those little guys are related to Shaman. Fighter, and I already wrote Pack Leader because I think those friends are related to Pack Leader. And again, I have no idea what they do. Like, subclass items are the hardest ones. Blacksmith definitely relates to Hammer, right? Like, I always imagined Ripsaw Blade twice larger than it's in Berserker's hand. Yeah, I actually agree. This one, it looks like a toy. My head also can't drop its... And I mean, it's 4 large as well, right? So Spear, like, considering that Spear is 4 squares and Ripsaw Blade's 4 squares, it doesn't make any sense. Spear would be 2 times larger, like in real life, right? It will be from leg to head, right? Over here. And the fact that Ripsaw Blade is so small doesn't make any sense. It should be, yeah, 2 times larger. That I agree with. Because, I mean, you compare it with a spear, which is a real life weapon, right? So you consider this one to be, like, large. And in practical large grades were, like, insanely huge. Like, basically the size of a person. Like kind of like Zabuza from Naruto, right? Everybody knows Zabuza. So kind of in a similar fashion, like impractically large. That's literally the name. And this is just like... Maybe she's just so big. Maybe she's a big buffed girl. You know, kind of like Dimitrixo from Resident Evil. So maybe that's what's going on. So Blacksmith interacts with Hammer. Or with Forged. With Hammer / Forged. Boosts them, like, probably boosts Forged items. I don't know, like, how can I go more certain about that. Fighters is very hard as well, and it would be better to put it on her shoulder like a two-handed weapon. Yeah, I think that'll be a better... I don't know, maybe... You know what might be the reason, honestly, why they did it like that? I think what is happening is that they have a similar rig to each of them. Like for animating and stuff, and maybe Big Sword was kind of messing up the rig. I know though, she has a scythe which makes a lot more sense to, like, that's actually also, again, that's four squares right there. So yeah, this Ripsaw Blade doesn't make any sense. It would make, maybe they didn't want to stick it out like over here. But yeah, I think having it over shoulder would make a lot more sense and like doesn't disturb the gameplay. But yeah, maybe they have like a rig or animation done for all of them, which is the same, So they didn't want to remake one with like hand up, but at the same time I see Reaper having it a little bit differently. So, and this one, yeah, this theory goes out the window. That's not the case. So back, fighter. I think this is a weapon first of all. I'm pretty sure it's a weapon, and I have no idea about anything else. Like I have no idea what it does. Like what can it do? Just be a weapon, very strong weapon, and that's it. You know what? I'm gonna go with that. It's just a weapon. It's just a very good weapon. Stun maybe? As a Knuckles maybe. You know what? I'll put that in 50% stun. But I actually don't know. Maybe it'll have like 4 stars and maybe it'll boost other weapons. Maybe it'll just be like a good build for like multi-weapons, you know, like some people do, buy just 5 weapons like Ripsaw Blade, Lightsaber, ELG, and just buy a bunch of stamina pots, so they just hit with everything at the same time. So maybe that will kind of like just boost every weapon around it. But it's kind of hard to predict. I'll also add stun, probably stars around it to boost other weapons. That's kind of like my predictions. And Chieftain. What this Chieftain can do? I have like also... What is this? Oh, and now I see practical large sword on Berserker's shoulder. Like in Final Fantasy series. Oh yeah, good point. Actually, yeah, in Final Fantasy there's also like a big sword wielder, right? I don't know the character, so I don't know his name. But it's one of the main ones, right? So Chieftain. I have honestly zero ideas. What can it do? At least something. I need at least something to put in. Like what it interacts with. At least a slight prediction. You know what? I'm gonna skip it for now. I'm gonna come back to it. Or maybe somebody will write a good idea. So this is Berserker. Let's put... I think other items are not class-based. I think they're like just additional items. So what we see here... Actually, the person who was making it didn't put book in. So we have Book of Light, which used to be the same effect as Golden Crown. And they changed the visuals of it. And they said that Book of Light will come back. So we have Book of Light. We clearly see a Book of Freeze, which is, I think, is actually like this. There's this scroll. I think scroll of, I don't know, what was it, Frost Arrow? Let's put Frost Arrow. So I think Book of Freeze is a combined, first of all. Book of Light plus Scroll of Frost Arrow. And at the same time, I think that scrolls might be a new gated items. I think book might be similar to deck of cards that will open up some scrolls to be played. It doesn't make sense though, because you're buying book, you get scrolls combined with book itself, and then change the book. It doesn't make much sense, right? So I'm not sure, but I'm kind of like have some mixed ideas. I think it might be the gated item, but at the same time, it doesn't make sense that the gated item changes itself with like item which you get from there. But I think also we see Frozen Blade as well, right? This one. So this one I think is a Hungry Blade. It does look like Hungry Blade, right? Yeah, it's very similar to Hungry Blade with a stone right there. So I think it's Hungry Blade plus this like scroll of Frost Arrow, let's call it. So I think Book of Light plus this one we get book. Hungry Blade plus this scroll we get this sword. Both of which probably give frost, so we'll have a lot more cold items. So there'll be cold tag and stuff like that. So Frozen Blade, weapon, inflicts cold. maybe scales with cold. It would make sense to work similar to Hungry Blade. Wrong screen. No, this is, thank you for saying, but this is not wrong screen. This is my OBS lagging out. Here we go. Thank you for saying. I'm not sure if you can actually read anything, but I appreciate the note. I always keep an eye, but I missed it this time. So Book of Freeze. It's kind of hard to guess. I want to think that it will work similarly like it used to work. So how the crown works right now, but it might work in completely different fashion. So I feel a little bit of bias to think that it'll like inflict cold every like 3 seconds, and when opponent has 10 cold, it will do something. So kind of similar to a crown, but it might be misguided by the fact that book used to be the same as crown. So I might like think that it'll be the same, but it's actually completely different. But I'll go with that. I think it'll inflict cold and has something when the cold hits a certain threshold. Has something when cold hits a certain threshold. I've like, it might be misguided, but I feel like it kind of makes sense to be similar. Although Book of Light then kind of like Book of Light. What can Book of Light do? Maybe it'll actually inflict blind. I'll put it inflicts blind now. Because it makes sense, blind, right? It's blinding, so it inflicts blind instead of healing it, so kind of makes sense. And you know what? I'm hitting that. I'm going all in. And interacts and has something when blind hits a certain threshold. It might be completely off, but it's okay. It's a prediction anyway. And Scroll of Frost Arrow, I think I'm actually quite certain of it. It inflicts cold after some time. After some delay. There maybe will be more scrolls. I also like think that it might be a gated item. I'll put it in as well. Might be a gated or like gate opener, I guess. How do you call it? Opener for scrolls. Maybe there's more scrolls. When these items use mana. Maybe mana. I'll like maybe like a crown. They'll be like mana related. It kind of makes sense, right? Spells. You know what? Maybe that's the case. Actually, they're gonna do something, and maybe they'll be completely working on mana. Like maybe even scroll will consume mana. That's actually an interesting idea. Like as a magic scroll, so you need 5 mana to cast a Frost Arrow, and the Frost Book just can do it repeatedly. That's an interesting option. So you can have book, you combine it with Frost Arrow, and then you have Frost Book. So the regular book gives like, I know, blind for each 5 mana. But then you make a Frost Book and it gives cold for each 5 mana. So you can cast it repeatedly. It's not a bad option. You know what, I'll put it in as well. Somewhere over here. Both books and scroll might use mana. I know that doesn't make sense that I have 2 predictions for the same item, but who cares? Especially the scroll. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I agree with that. At the same time, I kind of like, I'm trying to also not do the same as crown. So I'm trying to move a little bit away from crown, but it might be very similar to crown. Maybe even the Book of Frost removes frost from you, but when it hits some threshold, it inflicts cold. I don't know. There's very many like things. It definitely works somehow with cold. That's for certain. How exactly? There's so many ways. I would assume it will be a new mechanic. That's why I don't want to put mana, because there's many items which use mana, but at the same time there's many things which use mana. So adding another thing which use mana makes sense. So it can go both ways. It might be a new mechanic, or it might be expanding old mechanics. So it can go both ways. What else? What else we have? So we have potions. Let's go for potions. We have those two. I think those are the improvement of the same potion. I have no idea what it is, but I'll call them vampiric one. Because I think that this is vampiric related item. Vampiric potion and strong vampiric potion. Which the name itself I'm giving it is a prediction. I heard some people say that they might be heat related. They're similar color to chili pepper, but from the silhouette of that, it really looks like a freaking Dracula costume. So I think they are vamp related. Nah, definitely, yeah. And the color is very vamp. So I think they're gonna just give vamp on some weird trigger. Gives vamp. There'll be probably some new trigger. Gives vamp, gives more vamp. I don't know, maybe it will be lifesteal, like the first time you lifesteal, you trigger them. Maybe when you are getting life stolen. I think it'll be too rare, so probably not. I think, yeah, the first time you lifesteal. Maybe. I'll put that, I don't know. First time you lifesteal. But that's just like, you know, it can be anything really. And I actually don't necessarily know which one is stronger one. Honestly, they look kind of same. Like both this one can be stronger and this one. I think this one is stronger one, but I have no idea. I'll put that in as well, like Dracula shaped. But it can go both ways. Bottom should be strong. I think so as well, but I'm not certain. I can see that they're like go both ways. So this gives vamp, like, and some other items, like it's kind of hard to predict. There's a million things which can go about them. It's fancier. It is fancier. So yeah, I think so as well, but I see that it might be in a different way. But I'm also gravitating toward this one. And Holy Potion and Strong Holy Potion. Again, I have no idea what they're gonna be combining with. Like, this doesn't really give away what they're gonna be combining with. There's so many options. Maybe like even something super strong like Crown or like something else. Maybe there will be new items which will be combined with. And I'm predicting they're gonna remove debuffs. And just remove more debuffs. And the trigger, let's say the trigger will be once you get 10 debuffs or something. Like, this is just like a random. Again, it can be very many different places, but I think those are debuff removal. It kind of makes sense. Most of the holy items work in some way with removing debuff. Holy armor removes poison. Golden crown removes blind. What else? What else do we have for holy items? I guess no more removals. Oh, this removes debuffs in general, so holy items, like quite a lot of them work around removing, so that's kind of like what I'm going with. Again. Okay, got it. Strong Vampiric Potion is probably just made with Amulet. You know what, I'm gonna write it down, I agree. Plus Blood Amulet. I agree. Although it is very expensive, but we do have some expensive potions. Like Demonic Potion is combined with Corrupted Crystal, which is 7. So it'll be probably the most expensive one. So this might be actually very well be combined with Crown. And you know what? Let's actually put it in. This will be plus Crown. Plus Crown. And it will actually give you invulnerability. I'm putting my bets on that, because that actually makes sense. And this will be the most expensive potion then. So I'm putting my bets on that. What else do we have here? We have this one as well. We have this like weird mana potion. That's literally how I'm writing this down. And this one, I think it's frost related. I think it's again like related with that frost arrow. Maybe even like just health potion plus frost arrow, maybe mana potion plus frost arrow, but interacts. I think it's cold related. Doesn't really look frosty to me. It doesn't, right? It does look more like mana one, but you know what? I'm gonna go on a whim here and say that it's probably cold related. But I kind of agree that, you know, you can put a snowflake here instead. And oh wait, it's actually, god damn it, I now see a mana here. The freaking water drop like mana. God damn it. No. You're probably right. God damn it. You know what? I would expect mana potion plus orb. And just strong mana potion just gives you like freaking 10 mana or something. You know what? Sure. Let's put that. Plus mana orb. It's not a bad option. Huge amount of mana. What else? We have also this bow. Like weird looking bow. Like without arrows sticking out. I just think it's a ranged weapon. I have no idea. Like anything specific about it. Wait, by the way, I can do like that. Nice. So ranged weapon, and I think it might be actually like somehow gated. I think it's Berserker exclusive. The bow is weird. Yeah, the bow is weird, really. It looks really similar to bow and arrow on a ranger, but nothing really big changes about it. So you're kind of like the same item, but just a little bit different. So I'll say it's Berserker exclusive. I like maybe it has some interactions with something, but it's kind of like it's a weird item. I have no idea. It's not shown anywhere. It just like falls down at the end. Looks a little more hunting themed. Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm thinking it's Berserker themed. Maybe even like chieftain related somehow. Like it kind of like have this tribe vibe, which chieftain and shaman has as well. But like it's a long shot. I think it's a Berserker exclusive item. And what's the difference between a weapon and ranged weapon? In terms of mechanic, gameplay, or in terms of me writing it down? In terms of mechanic, just in case, ranged weapon avoids spikes. Ranged weapon doesn't give you HP from vamp. Most of the shields interact only with melee damage, apart from only moon shield interacts with ranged weapons, so you're avoiding shields as well. And I think that's about it. So spikes, vamp, and shields. These are the differences. Gameplay, yeah. So these are the gameplay differences. Most shields work with melee weapons only, and spikes and vamp. If you see vamp, heals 1 per stack when hitting with a melee weapon. And the same with spikes. Deals 1 damage per stack when being hit with a melee weapon. But here's the table. I sometimes wrote weapon, sometimes I wrote ranged weapon, but it's pretty obvious when it's a ranged weapon. Phoenix is probably a ranged weapon, but I don't think I wrote it. Hammer is probably a melee weapon, but these are like small differences. So what else? Are we missing something? I think all of these are done. Oh, and chieftain. Oh wait, no, we have 4 more. We have 3 more. I have already made a prediction about Peacemaster. It gives you those 3 critters and they interact somehow. Maybe better food items or something like completely different. There's also Grove Keeper, which is this other subclass for Ranger. And there is Alchemist and Venomancer. Let's start with Alchemist and Venomancer because they're super simple, right? Alchemist interacts with potions 100%. Interacts with potions in some way, like or certainly alchemists, and you have a big pot here, so definitely something surrounding potions. I would say that probably potions will be able to be mixed somehow. Maybe completely like freely, like, you know, any two potions can be mixed. It seems that they have a shader for the liquid already done, so I think they might be like alchemists might somehow combine any two potions. Oh, I'm sorry, my hiccups are coming. So I think they're gonna be able to combine potions in some way or the other. Combine potions mechanic. At least it'll be pretty cool. Or maybe it'll just improve potions around it. That's also like a pretty decent guess. But I think as a subclass item, since they're like pretty unique sometimes, I think they'll be not just like, you know, oh. Actually, you know what? Something like potions trigger immediately at the start of the battle. No, that'll suck for some items like stamina pots. Maybe like it'll be. I bet it encourages potion variety in some way. Maybe. Yeah, because alchemy is kind of like mixing up, right? Mixing up mix pot. Also, another idea I have, either combine potions in some way, or maybe actually you'll be able to create potions. Create potions from items. Like maybe having two Fly Garrics being able to create Pestilence potion. Maybe actually it will make it cheaper to create. I don't know, maybe you can do, maybe it'll make strong potions by themselves. Actually, you know what? That's also a good guess. It can make just strong potion one at a time without any components. I'm gonna write it down. Makes strong potions for free. So you can just put Pestilence Slice next to it and it will return you strong one next battle. That's actually a good prediction, I kinda like it. It feels strong as a subclass item and at the same time not completely broken, right? So that's will be alchemist. Like a lot of options, one of them. But definitely interacts with potions, like 100%. Like it's clear. Venomancer 100% interacts with poison. Like there's no way it doesn't interact with poison, right? It's the Venomancer. Every potion does have a strong version now. Yeah, exactly. So I think it can be a like interesting option. Like every potion gets to be a strong potion once it stays with alchemist. So you cannot make more than one, so it's kind of balanced. You get it only on 8th round, so it's not like you can do it very early. It still gives you like goes ahead of the curve in terms of money, so which kind of makes sense. And it's big as well. Like it takes some space. So it'll be like hard to put potions around it. So it kind of like it feels kind of balanced by all the facts it has, and it's like a pot as well. So you're kind of mixing something with it. I'm actually leaning like I didn't think about it before stream, but I think making strong potions for free is my biggest prediction for alchemist. I'm gonna move other ones to I don't know, and make strong potions is 50%. So Venomancer interacts with poison, probably increasing it, right? Increasing poison amount in some way. Like there's hard to make any predictions about Venomancer. It's probably a pet, right? It's probably a pet. Let's write it down. It's probably a pet. It looks like a pet. And yeah, I have no idea what else can be done. Like maybe poison hits through block, I don't know. Maybe they'll go with a freaking Dota Venomancer and you'll make some small snakes around, which will also like hit, I don't know. That'll be kind of sick. You'll actually create like fire, like similar to how you can make fires with Pyromancer. Maybe you can make small snakes which will attack. Probably inflicts poison as well. Yeah, and all of them, oh, as a weapon? Yeah, true. Let's write it down. So probably a weapon. Or actually, do you think it's a weapon? I don't think it's a weapon, actually, if I think about it. Although it kind of seems like one. You know what? Let's write it down. Weapon inflicts poison. I'm gonna agree with that one. Maybe based on the amount of poison on the opponent. Like kind of doubles it, or what do you mean? Like if he has 20 poison, gives 2 poison. If he has 30 poison, he's 3 poison or something, like scales. Like adds 10% to poison. Hey, high five. High five. Thank you. Who is that? Tolofam. I appreciate the follow. So let's say like something like that. Yeah, maybe like inflicts poison, scales with poison. I cannot type. Scales with poison. Something along those lines. I don't necessarily think it was like, I think it poison inflictions can scale with poison, but I don't think the damage will be scaling with poison, at least. Because we already have Belladonna's, what is it called? Belladonna blah blah blah, the bow. And it already has it, so I don't know, like, it should be more unique. It shouldn't just copy Belladonna, that's why I think it kind of like... Maybe boost damage by 0.1 per poison stack or something. Or like in general, poison is like... Maybe boost damage by 0... it's the same as Belladonna, so I don't think so. Plus you have Darksaber for the end. Darksaber, it kind of... it's too similar. Something like more poison if he has a lot of poison, like it's a new mechanic, right? So like multiply each time poison, like add 10% to poison every time it hits, right? So if opponent has 20 poison, that's 2. If it has 100 poison, that's 10. That feels kind of unique. Kind of unique and new, I like that. But like the boost damage for poison, it's kind of the same as Belladonna and Darksaber. So I think since subclass items are all like quite unique and add some new mechanic which cannot be seen anywhere else, I think there'll be something new. But it can be a million different things. I'm gonna go with like the infliction of poison scales, which can be interesting, but like it can be absolutely wrong. It might be not even a weapon. I'm not actually sure if it's a weapon. I like this shape though. Do you have a shape like that right now in the game? Like this zigzag from Tetris. I don't think there's such a shape, right? Oh, there's Excalibur, so yeah, it has Excalibur shape. Although I hate Excalibur, but it's cool to have another item in this shape. Although I think it's... is it the mirrored zigzag? My head. Yeah, it is. So it's mirrored Excalibur. Grove Keeper. Grove Keeper is another one which I have zero idea what it could do. Like, what is this? Grove Keeper and Chieftain are the ones which I'm kind of like, meh, there's 100 different things it can be, and it's not really thematic enough to say what it does. It definitely has something to do with luck because it has like a four-leaf clover around it. Like as you can see, like this is here, you see. So there is definitely something around clover going on, but it might be absolutely unrelated. It probably interacts with nature items as many ranger subclasses do. Another nature-related class item would be weird, but could be. Yeah, it feels the most nature-related, right? It's literally Grove Keeper. But I agree, it's probably nature-related. I would even say that it's a luck or lucky clover specifically related. Just because of this shape over here. Like, because it's like a four-leaf clover. That looks like 4 butts, by the way. I'm sorry, now you cannot unsee that. And, I don't know. It looks kind of magical, so I think maybe something like alongside mana, or like since it's white, it's blind related. So I'll put like into, I don't know, like mana / blind related. But I have nothing more than that. Like I have no idea. It looks like an item. Like that's all I can say. It's very hard to discern. And Chieftain, nobody said anything, so I need to put something for Chieftain. It's a water lily, and water is kind of associated with mana. Yeah, true. So it might be related. And the color is white, kind of like points towards blind, but not really. But Leaf already does mana stuff. Yeah, and Leaf also looks a lot more mana. Like it's literally glowing with magical energy from inside, so kind of hard. But and it looks a lot less magical. It doesn't have like this light blue color to it, which is associated with like which almost all magical items have. But yeah, it might be. Chieftain. I have no idea what Chieftain is. I need to put something. Boosts. You know what? Let's say nature related. Nature related items. Oh my god, related interacts with nature tag. Is there any ideas what it might do? I literally have zero. Maybe somehow interacts with pets. Chieftain, like a leader. You know what? Like interacts with pets. Let's say that. Like I have no idea about this item. Like it doesn't say anything to me. And I think that's it, right? It seems to be all the things. Alrighty, so now I have this prediction. I have this table. By the way, you can see it. I have the link in Discord, or you can type exclamation mark sheet over here in chat, so you can see this table. It's right here, item prediction. I'm not gonna change it. It's online, so if I change it, people are gonna scream at me, so I'm not gonna. So so it's here. I think like somewhere after the release, we're gonna go over them, look what I got right, what I got wrong. We'll maybe think about some sort of point system. I don't know. I'm just doing it for fun because I think it's interesting, it's fun. I was looking over the trailer a lot of time. It's interesting to Theorycraft to see like what are small glimpses of information you can get from it. Like for example, like it's pretty easy to understand how Phoenix works from this point where it triggers. You see all the heat consumed and he gets 100 HP. So it's kind of like a lot of things you can figure out from this, and a lot of things which you just kind of try to figure out on based on the appearance, because there's definitely some sort of a language, like visual language in the game and visual rules which they follow. Like, and yeah, by the way, I didn't type it in, but this is clearly spear, this is clearly longsword, this is clearly dagger. You can even see how longsword gets transformed, so I just put them in as fire weapon. Yeah, here it is. It's longsword. It's a weapon plus two this fires. Alrighty. Whew. Took a while. How much time did you take? Was it like 2 hours? But we're done. I'll probably cut it down and put it as a video as well on YouTube, just to have it as a history as well, so people cannot say that I lied about stuff when I go over them. But here are they. Let's finally play some more games.